125 years ago, in 1901, a group of faithful women at Union Chapel Methodist Church officially became part of the Foreign Missionary Society, known today as United Women in Faith. Just a few short years later, in 1910, the Columbia District of the Foreign Ministry Society held its annual meeting at Union. The ladies of Union saw this as early recognition of their young and growing group. While no written records remain detailing their original goals or vision, their initiative to organize speaks volumes about their faithful spirits and hearts for others. In 1933, the organization's name was changed to the Ladies' Aid Society. That same year, they voted unanimously to become a missionary society. Though we do not know or have documentation outlining the specific missions they supported at that time, we do know that their first fundraiser had a very practical and meaningful purpose: to pay the insurance on the church piano. Over the years, the group's name changed several times to the Women's Society of Christian Service, to United Methodist Women, and more recently to United Women in Faith. No matter the name, the purpose has remained the same: women united in love in the Lord and dedicated to serving others. Throughout the decades, these women have faithfully supported our church, one another, and our community, both near and far. Funds to accomplish their goals have been raised in many creative ways. In earlier years, they hosted garage sales and bake sales, made handmade items for bazaars, organized a fashion show, and even published cookbooks featuring their own treasured recipes. In more recent years, we have enjoyed Martha's Market and lively games of bunco. Their generosity has left a lasting mark on Union. Beyond paying the insurance on the church piano so many years ago, they funded carpet for the sanctuary, which is now our chapel, and contributed to the building fund for the multi-purpose educational building. They assembled health care kits for migrant workers on Johns Island and supported the church food pantry that served families in need, a ministry that eventually grew into what we now call Sharing God's Love. Today, their impact continues. Funds now support our snack pack program, Killingsworth, Epworth, the Tucker Center, and the Bryan Center. Each spring, we host Union's Shower of Hope to assist caregivers of young children. These are only a few of our current projects, and as you hear the histories of our individual circles, you will discover even more ways these women serve. This year, Union is blessed with 10 circles, 10 groups of women who, just like those who came before, carry faithful spirits and hearts for others. For 125 years and counting, the women of Union have lived out their faith not only in words but in action, and the legacy continues.
Hey y'all, my name is Zoe Ayers. I am a member of the newly formed Faith Circle. We are excited to be one of Union's newest circles. Over the years growing up, I watched my mom's involvement in UMW and all that she was able to gain in the community and fellowship of her own circle, and always looked forward to the day that I would get to be a part of UMW and a circle of my own. Over the last year or so, we had a group of women in our 20s and 30s who decided it was about time to start a new younger circle here at Union. And in 2026, we've officially joined the UMW and are really excited to be a part of this great group and learn from all of you who've gone before us and continue the missions of UMW into the future. Thank you.
The year of America's bicentennial celebration, 1976, was also a celebration for a group of young women at Union United Methodist Church. During the fall of that year, a group of women met at Nora Whitley's home with the purpose of forming a new UMW circle. The church had grown tremendously, and there was a need for a new circle. Several of those women that were at that meeting are still members, 50 years later, of that circle. Carol Kennedy, who passed away in 2013, was also present, and she was the person who suggested the name Heritage in honor of the nation's bicentennial. And this year, we will be celebrating our golden anniversary. When these women met for the first time, they discussed just what do we want to accomplish in our circle. And unanimously all agreed that their main focus would be to serve one another, not only by being aware of and praying for other members' needs, but also by trying to minister them in any way that they could. And now, 50 years later, I think that the members of the Heritage Circle can all agree that that has been our main focus. Nevertheless, in our own church, the ladies have focused on several projects, some recent and continuing, some that occurred when the circle was first organized. When our UMW sponsored a Christmas tour of members' homes, the Heritage Circle not only provided a couple of the homes, but they also helped decorate them. They have helped to clean the gym floor at one time. They participated in and provided food for a craft fair, and they always help at Bible school. They assisted and participated in UMW-sponsored fashion shows, chaired 2 years by Debbie Goodman and Jean Howe, members of the Heritage Circle. Several of our members ministered to women in prison by visiting them and sending birthday cards. Another ministry is Killingsworth, which is a ministry for women emerging from crisis situations, has been a focal mission for the church for several years. The ladies decorated a home there. They continue to provide gift cards at Christmas and donate miscellaneous items throughout the year that are needed. Also, for many years, the Circle has contributed to Bryan Center, which is now called Seven Oaks Rehab Center. Circle member Donna McLeod has coordinated our ministry there ever since it started. The Circle provides support. They donate Christmas items for the residents to give to their own family members. And the most recent ministry, and one that has been very gratifying to us, has been the Aldersgate Special Needs Ministry of the United Methodist Church. They provide, the Aldersgate provides home and support for adults with special needs. At the present time, there are 6 homes in South Carolina. They are in Columbia, Irmo, Florence, and Orangeburg. The Circle has reached many people also by having a blood drive every year, and that has been chaired since the beginning by Circle member Millie Joy. Truly, God has blessed the women of the Heritage Circle. While the group now meets in a room at the church, originally we met at homes, but we really outgrew that. But when we were meeting at homes, one of the Circle members said, "Mama, I had no idea that y'all were associated with the church because you were just having so much fun." Yes, we do have a good time while we are serving others. Throughout its years of service, the members have striven to follow the words of 1 Peter 4, verses 10 through 11. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms.
My name is Mandy Ayers, and I'm one of the founding members and chair of the Leona Hydrick Circle. We held our first meeting in January of 2015 to form a new circle to fill a gap for our age group. We decided to honor a friend who had recently passed away after a courageous fight with cancer. Leona's faith in God was always shining, even during her toughest struggles. She was often seen at church with a smile and expressing concerns for how others were doing and asking if there was anything that she could do for them. Our mission focus is Epworth Independent Cottage, where young adults have aged out of foster care but are still in need of support. We contribute various cottage needs. We have developed a sisterhood of caring for each other. Fellowship is an important part of our meetings, where we share good and bad times and support each other by lifting each other up. If we can all keep the faith that Leona displayed during her own times of struggles, We can only hope that we too can share the same faith with others during their struggles.
Hello, my name is Ann Copeland, and I'm representing the Llewellyn Hames Circle. Our circle began April 2025, and our circle's namesake became an active member of Union in 1968. Llewellyn was involved in many leadership positions in our church. She also served in both local and district levels as the leader of the United Methodist Women. Llewellyn was a wife, mother of 3 children, grandmother, leader in the church, and a magistrate judge in our community. We are very grateful to have our circle named after such a generous, compassionate, and loving leader who was always inspiring others to follow Christ. Our circle meets monthly, the 3rd Wednesday from 10 to 12 in the fellowship hall, or sometimes in restaurants and homes. Our members are engaged in many different Sunday school classes at Union and in other areas of our church. Our focus is encouraging our members to become a Christian sisterhood and serving others through various mission projects. We also plan field trips, and this first year of organization was to the Billy Graham Library and Museum. Our devotions have included the book, The Daniel Prayer by Anne Graham Lott. As we grow together as the Llewellyn Hames Circle, may we continue to focus on helping others and growing together as Christ has called us to do.
The Martha Circle was formed in the early 2000s by a group of young moms who were stepping into a brand new season of life. We were all figuring out motherhood, marriage, church life, jobs, and everything in between. And we knew we needed support, encouragement, and guidance from one another. So we created a new circle. It was named the Martha Circle for 2 reasons. First, after Martha in the Bible, because that busy, full service-minded season of life felt very familiar. And second, in honor of Martha Thompson, who was such an example to many of us at the time and also was serving as our UWF president. Now, more than 20 years later, our circle looks somewhat the same, and our purpose definitely remains the same. We are still a group of women who want to support one another through the busy season of life. Our members represent all stages, from women raising young children to women who are now grandparents, and that generational connection has become one of the sweetest parts of who we are. We learn from each other, we lean on each other, and we grow together. Over the years, we've done many studies and spent time in fellowship and the Word, but our most consistent mission has been our Snack Pack ministry. The Martha Circle started the Snack Pack program back in 2010, serving Harbison West, and it quickly took on a life of its own. Stuart Stout became involved early on and wanted to help, and eventually the Optimist Club took the lead, shifting our circle into more of a supporting role. That transition allowed us to expand and find new ways to support this mission financially, including Martha's Market, which ran for 10 years and raised thousands of dollars for Snack Pack. Fast forward to 2026. We are still packing and feeding for 147 children each week, and now every school in our district is served. Along with our ongoing mission work, we've also grown in new ways. In recent years, we began hosting Friday Night Lights events, bringing women from our church, our community, and other churches together for a night of reflection, music, food, and encouragement. It has become a really meaningful way for us to connect with others and grow beyond our circle. One of the things we are most proud of is sponsoring and helping start the Nikki Circle, which is named in memory of Nikki Kyle, a former youth of Union who lived her life for Jesus. It's a place for younger women, our littlest ladies in our church, to find one another early, because we know firsthand how important relationships with other women of faith are. We lived it, and we want the next generation to have the same kind of support. At the end of the day, the Martha Circle has always been about the same thing, showing up for each other, growing in faith, and serving where we are needed, even in the busiest seasons.
In the early 1980s, a small group of women drew together to form a new circle under the existing United Methodist Women at Union Church. They were all young mothers, and some were returning to the workforce. At the time, it was the youngest circle at Union. After a bit of discussion, these women decided to call their circle New Ventures. This was in part due to their recent entry into the role of motherhood, but also to note their venture toward knowing Christ. Due to the fact that some were returning to work, meetings were held in the evenings in members' homes. This continued for many years until the pandemic in 2020, during which we met virtually. Since most are older now, and many retired, we meet during the day in members' homes or restaurants, or at the church, usually in the Commons Room. Our programs each month can vary. We have done several book studies over the years, led by our members. We've invited special guests to speak on a variety of topics, both faith-based and health-related. And we also have member-led devotions as part of each program. Our very first fundraiser was a cookbook. Ladies of the church submitted recipes, which New Ventures members compiled into a recipe book called The Bear Cupboard. Many of us refer to it as the Teddy Bear Cookbook, and many of us use it almost exclusively. We call it the Teddy Bear Cookbook because it was a teddy bear on the cover. It was so well received that New Ventures had 2 additional printings done of the book. For the past 20 years or so, our fundraiser has been selling pecans from Cameron, South Carolina. They're always very popular. We have many repeat customers, so it's been a successful venture for us. Over the years, we have supported the women at Killingsworth, the families from Sharing God's Love and from within our school system, and also veterans at the Tucker Center, as well as unions, missions abroad, and within our community. During all these years and the many phases of life we have shared, our focus remains on our venture of knowing Christ and having a relationship with Him and with each other.
The Nikki Circle was created about 5 years ago to give the littlest ladies at Union a chance to come together and build friendships, and most importantly, grow relationships in Christ at a young age. Our circle is named after Nikki Kyle. Nikki served here at Union with her whole heart during her time on earth, and we wanted to honor her legacy of service for others. The Nikki Circle meets quarterly, and every time we meet, we do a devotion, fellowship, snacks, and usually a craft, because snacks and crafts are kind of important. We also do mission work together. We've collected bottle caps for the Ronald McDonald House, raised money through lemonade stand, and made cards and crafts for shut-ins to encourage them. One of the sweetest parts is that our other circles have supported and joined with us, including Miss Domi Kyle, who is Nikki's mom. We love getting to be together, growing in faith, and forming bonds with other girls in Christ.
Good morning. My name is Judy Weston, and I'm a member of the Rosa Hook Circle. As a child growing up in Irmo and as a member of Union Church, I knew Miss Rosa until she passed in 1964. The Rosa Hook Circle was named in honor of Miss Rosa Metz Hook, who was a lifelong member of Union Church. I remember her as a small child as I was raised in this church. She was born in 1899 and would be 127 years old today, and we are celebrating the 125th anniversary of the Ladies' Organization within church. The Ladies' Organization was formed in 1901. I know that this wonderful lady would have been a member of the Ladies' Organization as soon as she was old enough to join. She was full of grace and Christian love, and was a member of the Woman's Foreign Missionary Society. She loved children, and she loved to teach the children at Union. She also welcomed them into Mr. Jimmy Leitner's general store where she worked. Mr. Jimmy was her half-brother. Many of you probably remember him, as he died just a few years ago at the age of 107. Miss Rosa married Wally Hook, and they had 2 daughters. They lived across the street from the parsonage of Irmo Union Church and worked tirelessly in the church. She was the self-appointed member to be sure that every new preacher was welcomed and properly welcomed by the congregation. In 1933, the Ladies' Organization changed, the name changed, and Miss Rosa was a member of the Ladies' Aid Society. In 1937, the name changed again to the Missionary Society, and later to the Woman's Missionary Society of Christian Fellowship. Miss Rosa served as the third president of that society. The name of the ladies' organization, as we know, have changed several more times since then. In 1963, the church was very small with only 205 members and only a few ladies to do the work of the church. Miss Rosa was always there, working very quietly. She never expected or looked for any thanks or praise. All she did was done because of her dedication to her Lord and to her church, and it was just the thing to do. Miss Rosa passed away in 1964 from a heart attack. Her mom always said that she was a special child, but that she was a sickly child. She had very poor eyesight, and she wore very thick glasses. I remember watching her trying to push the buttons on the cash register in that store. She had to stand on the box as she was very short, and her fingers were very gnarled. She had rheumatoid arthritis, but I never heard her complain, and I never knew she had a heart condition. She never complained as she took my hand and walked me around that big store. She had so much love to give to her church, her family, and that everyone she met, especially children. As the congregation was growing in the late 60s, the Women's Society of Christian Fellowship was split into 3 circles. One of those circles was named to honor Miss Rosa. The 3 circles met in homes of members and would rotate membership every 2 years. Eventually, the Rosa Hook Circle dropped out of that rotation and began meeting at the church. Our circle has had many projects over the years and recorded many of them in a scrapbook which is located in the history hall of our church. Currently, as members have gotten older and slowed down a bit, we have had our main focus on supporting Sister Care, Killingsworth, and sharing God's love. We have always supported the other circles with their many projects and the other sisters in our circle. Thank you, Miss Rosa, for all you did to make Union the church it is today, and the legacy you left for the members of Union United Methodist Church and the Rosa Hook Circle. Thank you for all the lives you had touched with your strong Christian faith and love. You certainly made a lasting impression on one little girl who has such warm, loving memories of this sweet, gentle Christian lady.
If the information that's been passed down through the years to members of the Sarah Circle is correct, the circle was formed in the early 1970s and was named in honor of Sarah Lazare, wife of the Reverend Julian Lazare, who was Union's minister from 1972 to 1977. That information was not questioned for decades. However, while preparing this brief history, it was noted that the name in her obituary was Sarah without an H, Lazare, not Sarah with an H, Lazare. Our UWF directory has listed her as Sarah with an H, Lazare, for many years as a UMW Memorial recipient, and a member of the circle from the early years of the 1970s has confirmed that it was indeed named for Sarah Lazare. The spelling may not be correct, but the Sarah Circle has been a proud and active member of the United Methodist Women and now United Women of Faith for over 50 years. One of the early fundraising projects of the Circle was the publication in 1976 of a well-loved and often used cookbook entitled Treasured Recipes of Union United Methodist Church. But most fundraising for mission work since then has been done through our barbecue dinners in the late summer, which members and spouses have enjoyed for many years. Sarah Circle members have done many mission projects for Killingsworth Home, Epworth Children's Home, Sharing God's Love, the Methodist Student Network at USC, Christmas projects for families and children in need, among others. The latest service project is called Jan's Van, and it's been providing free mammograms for about 20 women each year in memory of our beloved member Jan Croft, who died from breast cancer. In fact, this year we did 2 days and served over 36 members. Known for building leaders, the Sarah Circle has provided at least 9 presidents of unions, either UMW or UWF, and several have served and are currently serving on the Columbia District level. We look forward, though, to continuing our mission of serving others into the future.
My name is Harriet Simpson, and I am one of the original members of the Wilson Circle in 1969. The Circle was formed by a group of stay-at-home moms and young workers, young female workers, that couldn't attend a day circle. So we formed a night circle, and we named it in honor of Reverend George Wilson, who was the minister here at Union from 1968 to 1972. We met in members' homes, and that was before cell phones and UPS, so we spent a lot of time, especially at first, running around these sprawling subdivisions looking for people's houses. I remember one night we went to, 3 of us went together, and we got there and we walked up to the door and knocked, and this lady answered, and we realized we didn't know her and she sure didn't know us. So we quickly explained why we were there, and she graciously pointed us to the right house. I remember another night when we got to the hostess's house and knocked on the door, and when she opened the door, she realized that she had forgotten she was hostess for the evening. But she didn't miss a beat. She invited us in, she started a pot of coffee, and she took a cake out of the freezer. So by the time everybody was there, she was ready for us. There were a lot of good memories back then. I remember especially one of our first projects was to visit the inmates at the Women's Correctional Institute out on Broad River Road. We took refreshments. We had a program, and then we visited with the inmates who elected to come to the meeting. I think it was as meaningful to us as it was to them. As the years went by and our members began to reach retirement age, we realized that a night circle was no longer serving our needs. So in February of 2020, we elected to go to a day circle. So Wilson Circle now meets the second Tuesday of each month in the fellowship hall from noon to 1:30. Our project at the moment is to make bags at Easter and Christmas for the church's shut-ins. In 2022, we formed a book club, the Wilson Circle Book Club. It meets the same time, second Tuesday of each month, following the circle meeting, and we select books from the United Women in Faith reading program list to read and discuss. You don't have to belong to the circle to participate in the book club. So, if you're an avid reader and you enjoy sharing your thoughts about books and authors with others and hearing their thoughts, we'd love to have you come join us.